I'm going to show you everything you need to collect from a contractor when you receive a bid to do a renovation project. And it's not contracts. It's not all the crap that you've been taught online by these gurus. No, this is what actually works for house flips, for sale or rental. I'm Ross. Been flipping houses for 17 years. I've done over 300 of them. I own 150 as rentals. They make me a couple $1,000,000 a year in rental revenue. Now, a lot of gurus out there that say, hey, before a contractor starts, you need to get this contract that says X, Y, and Z, and you need to get these lien releases, and you need to get these, that, this, and the other thing. Here's the deal, guys. Different ball game, okay? That's commercial construction. That's new building. That's bigger stuff. That's bigger development. And I agree. If you're in the organized construction, big construction, you absolutely need to get those things, but it does not apply to the rules of the game that we are playing. And just to be clear about the game that we are playing, we are buying small multifamily or mostly single family, small multifamily, like 1 to 4 units, yeah, up to even like 12 to 20. And I apply these same rules. Now, or even small commercial. This would apply there as well, but this channel is mostly about single family and small multifamily. That's what I'm talking about. And you're going to buy a house that is discounted because there's a headache on the other side. Generally speaking, that headache is that it needs some work to make it nice enough to be livable, or it's already livable and it needs some cosmetic repairs. And that is forcing appreciation into the property. You're forcing appreciation. You're making it more valuable by making it nicer, usually by construction. That's the type of work that I'm talking about. And there's a different set of contractors that require a different set of rules. Now, you buy a house, you need this work done. So you set a scope of work. We're not going to talk about setting scopes of work today. Plenty of other videos on my channel about just that topic. You have already set your scope of work. Now you're going to have a contractor come help you verify that scope of work, right? Because they have some education that you don't have in construction, and they might have some ideas that you're going to be open-minded to, okay? You are going to know what you want in that property because there's no contractors out there that have the vision of a real estate investor. They do not understand the big picture. They do not understand the big picture. You need to have a vision for what you want. They come in, they look at your scope of work, they might make other suggestions, and then they're going to give you a bid. That is what we're talking about, is the bid that you get from them. What does that mean? And it is comprised of 4 things. Now, you are not going to get all of these things on the front end because any pipeline, a pipeline of bids and contractors and such, is a sales process. And in any sales process, you work your way up a ladder. This is like if you were going to date somebody, okay, you meet them, you get to know them, and then you go in for the kiss. You don't walk up to them and go for the kiss right away, right? You work up to it. Same kind of thing. All right, so these 4 things that I'm about to show you, you don't get them all at once. I'll show you the process. Okay, they walk through. You guys clarify your scope of work together. And what you are going to expect from them in their bid is the price, the actual scope of work. Okay, you want to make sure that their written scope of work matches your written scope of work. Price, written scope of work, you're going to get a timeline for the work, and you're going to get payment checkpoints. Let's go through all of those. First is the price. Clearly, there's 2 types of pricing you can get. You could get bid pricing or cost plus pricing. A bid price means that they say, okay, here's the scope of work, and this is what that is going to cost. Okay, this is what a finished project should look like. This is how much it's going to cost to get it finished. If I, contractor, mess any of that stuff up, if my guys don't show, if something breaks and I have to go send people back to fix it, if whatever happens, whatever headache possibly happens, that always happens in construction, It's on me as the contractor because this is a closed bid. You are only going to pay the $3,000 I put on that paper no matter what. Now there's cost plus that says, hey, I think it's probably going to cost around $3,000. But, I'm going to take all the costs that I have and then I'm going to mark them up at some pre-agreed markup, let's say 20%. And that means that if this costs me $2,000, I'm going to charge you $2,000 plus my 20% markup, so $2,400. And if it costs me $4,000, sorry, my estimate was wrong, but you'll still owe me $4,000 plus the 20% markup, which is $4,800. Don't do that, for one. Cost plus, no way, man. This is like the whole point of subcontracting things out is you take the liability off of you and put it on somebody else. Okay. And by liability, I'm not talking about you're trying to like take advantage of these guys. The thing is that if they are a cost plus or an hourly situation, you need to have your bandwidth on that all the time. You need to be focused in on that. Otherwise, what job do you know of that the people go to work every day with the type of motivation that you have? The people go to work to make you the max amount of money. They're not going to take breaks. They're not going to do this, that, or the other thing. They're just going to full force, baby. Nah, it doesn't exist. We're human beings. I'm a human being too. If there's an opportunity for me to get a little lazy, baby, I'm getting lazy. And so are they, okay? It's going to happen. Over time, it's going to happen. That is just the way it is, all right? Some people will fight it because they're great, but you can only fight human nature for so long. So cost plus, ultimately going to screw you. And it's going to sound awesome, guys, because it's like, well, but what if they get it done for $2,000? They will never get it done for $2,000 when it's going to cost $3,000. I'm just telling you, it's never going to happen. And if it does, the next one will be $5,000. So it just never works in the long term, with a little bit of a caveat. There is a time when I would do cost plus. It'd be on a very small thing that I'm willing to put my bandwidth into. And the only reason that I would do it is because it's got a high fear tax, which means it's a very complex job. And even the contractor who's bidding it isn't confident about it. Therefore, if they're not confident about it, the type of pricing they will give you is got a fear tax on it, meaning I don't know how to do this. I think it's probably going to cost like $2,000, but I'm scared that I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to charge $4,000 instead. And if there are jobs like that where you just can't get a good bid because it's scary, therefore, I would do cost plus and I'd manage the living crap out of it to make sure that the prices don't run. Because, talk about this all the time. Think about it for yourself. If you had to go out and hunt what you eat, if you had to go work for your money, would you work harder? Yes, you would. Okay. And that's what a bid is. That is hunting what they eat. So I want a closed bid that is going to be that price, and you go out and work. And that's how I protect my bandwidth to do things that are way more important to me. Like number one, hang out with my family. And number two, get great deals. Yes, you know. So that's pricing. Two types of pricing: bid pricing, cost plus. I want to see those prices and I want them to be hard. I do not want some estimate bull crap unless we have really talked about it. Number two is I want the scope of work. Now, when you're walking the property with these people, you are going to have a few different ways that you're going to go about it. You're going to have the written scope of work that you have pre-written, hopefully because you're in my solo house flipper school community, and we talk about how to make scopes of work and all that kind of stuff, and you can ask questions on there. So you will start to build the skills to build your own scope of work, because there's not a contractor that I've ever met that has the vision of a real estate investor. And you are creating that vision for yourself. And every time you do this, you get better and better and better and better. And skills are the thing that you're really trying to build, because then you can go out and make money at will. But you're going to write this scope. You're going to be really crappy at it at first at doing it. And that contractor is going to come in and they're going to look at your scope of work and say, don't you want to do these other things too? Yeah, maybe I do. And that's how you're going to learn. It's okay. Who cares if you look stupid? It's not going to look stupid when you're super wealthy 5 years, 10 years away. Okay, so you're going to go back and forth. That scope of work, that written scope of work is going to get evolved throughout the scope of work walkthrough with this contractor. That's one way, written. Two is you're obviously going to have verbal. Okay. You're talking back and forth. And three is the most important, the media. All right. I have cameras all over around here. Obviously I'm talking to one right now. And I'm going there with my camera. I have this little, like a GoPro type of thing, and I will just walk it with it. You can use your phone, and I walk it with them. Hey, all right. So over here, the bathtub, I just want to make sure that I got this right. Always on me, that I got this right. So we're going to take this out here, and we're going to do the shower enclosure, like the ones that you can get off the shelf at Home Depot. We're just going to put that in, make sure that it's watertight, all that kind of crap. That's what we're doing here, right? Okay, cool. And then vanity is staying. Do not pull that thing out. That's what we agreed upon. Great. We're going to do LVP floors throughout. And so just a thing that I always have is like, make sure there is no transition strips. Like I want it to flow from room to room, because like that's, it makes it feel more like a house instead of a collection of rooms. And then the hinges there, like we're doing the paint. God, the hinges, man. Paint on hinges is like my big bugaboo. So it's just an indicator that people don't care. So please make sure there's no paint on the hinges. All right, anyway, that's a video that I'm making with them, and they're talking back to me in the video. And then I am going to, after this, I'm going to send them the video and the written scope of work that I have to make sure that that is what they're bidding on. So I want their price that they give me in a text message with that scope of work. Price, scope of work together. That's not it though. Okay. But by the way, that's my contract, guys. I said earlier in the video that like, you don't do contracts and stuff. It's because if you're hiring these guys, I mean, even like the billboard guys, could you imagine yourself actually going to court with them, tracking them down, and then even if you won, you have them having the money to pay you? You'd probably end up paying more to get the money than you would to, in the actual returns. Not only that, the bandwidth. Okay, listen, I've been in legal scenarios before, and it's almost never worth it. It's like, gosh, I paid a lot in legal fees and so much time, way too much headspace. And what did I get out of it? I should have just spent my time going to do the next thing instead of dealing with all that crap. And that's mainly what you're doing. Your contract is this text message back and forth that you get, and it is being ahead of the money all the time. I never pay contractors in advance. You hear me talk about that all the time. And you also hear me say this all the time. I am not a lawyer. I'm not trying to give you legal advice. I'm telling you what I do personally. Okay, so then I have the price, the scope of work in a text message. Okay, and by the way, that is all I want at first. Going back to the analogy of the first date and the kiss and all that kind of stuff when you meet somebody, that's it. I just want to get those basic things. And truly, like, I'm always trying to cut out friction, right? So I am not going to say all the things that I want up front. I'm just going to make sure that we have the scope of work. And, I'm making this video for me because I'm an idiot and like I forget things, and I want to make sure that I remember things. And then, so less friction. And then just send me your bid, man. And some will send it in an email. That's unlikely. Usually they'll send it to you in a text. And they're going to send the price with maybe a scope of work that's written. And then I will go back and I'll send the written scope of work, and I'll say, hey, okay, so, right, I got, just to be clear, the most friction is getting somebody to go home and actually write up the money that they want for a project or a job. I know it sounds crazy, but this is where you lose most people, okay? And you see how we're looking at this, like a sales pipeline. This is where most of the contractors fall out of the funnel, is because whatever reason, they don't want to make money off of you. And it's not whatever reason. I could tell you all the reasons. I'm not going to do it in this video. But the point is that I am not trying to make it really difficult on them by saying, okay, I got these contracts and I got these things, so go ahead and have your legal team review them and make sure that it all works out before we even do this thing. You're never going to get a bid, man. Like, you need to take away the friction. You need to make it super easy for them to give you a bid. If the thing that they use is text message, cool. You adapt to the text message. You try to get these guys to do admin work, you're never going to get crap from them. Okay, so this is the most admin work that I can get them to do, is send me just a number in a text message. Let's do it. Okay, then I get the number and maybe a scope of work, some kind of crappy thing. Then I send them my written scope of work that we worked on together when we were there. And I say, hey, just making sure it covers all these things, right? Good. Yeah. Yes, it does. Here's the video. Hey, remember when we were on there, I took that video, just making sure that you remember all these things. This covers all that stuff, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. So what do you think the timeline is going to be on a project like this? 2 months? Okay, cool. Yeah. Write that down. They're never going to deliver within that time, but at least you have an idea. Okay. And then, include, your start date and all that kind of stuff. If I were to do this, what would be the start date? Not that we're doing this, right? If I were to do this. Final thing is their pay schedule. Okay. This is an important piece of the whole deal, is that, I want to know the checkpoints in which they're going to get paid. Therefore, it is, here's the scope of work, the jobs that they're going to be doing inside of this project to get the hierarchy. We got 1, 2, 3 Main Street. That's a project. And then jobs inside of there, like flooring, painting, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I want to say, what is the pay schedule? Because this does a couple things for me. For one, it makes them think through like the order in which they're going to do things. And also says, okay, after I get A, B, C done, I'm going to want of this $10,000 bid, hard bid, not cost plus. Once I get through these 3 things, I'm going to want like $2,500. And once I get through these 3 things, so it makes them think about the project and the steps, and then you can start to get an idea. But more importantly, this gives you the leverage, the anchoring to pay not ahead, right? After the work is complete. And this is a big piece of it, guys. Once you overpay somebody, it's not that they're nefarious. It's not that they want to run off. It's just that construction is really hard. So if they already have your money, but they don't have this other one's money, the priority for them has to be the thing that they're trying to get the money from. Okay. And so, yes, call me an a-hole, but I am always trying to put the carrot on the stick. Otherwise, I'm never going to get anything done. And that's how I protect my bandwidth, is I make people hunt what they eat, and I make sure that I am never behind on the money, because if I'm behind on the money, I'm also behind on their roster of people that they give a crap about. People are just going to put out, they're going to focus on the fire that is burning the brightest, and damn it, I am always going to be that fire. That's my goal. And that's how I protect my bandwidth. And that's how you get people to be working on your behalf that you do not employ. They're subcontractors, they're 1099, and they are working on my stuff because they know without a shadow of a doubt they are going to get their money afterwards. That's the reputation you need to build. And I am very quick about paying people on the pay schedules that we agree upon. And even I get a little bit loosey-goosey with that stuff after I've worked with somebody for a while. It's like they'll say, I'm done with X, Y, and Z. I need this much money. I say, oh, okay, cool. As long as ultimately I know that I'm ahead of the schedule, the head of the pay. That is the key to the operation here, guys. Now, just real quick, you're all freaking about, well, none of the contractors that I talk to will, let me do that. They all say they need payment up front. All right, first, here are some things that I do to take the pressure off. Number one is that I'll pay for the material. Oh, gosh, man, I know that you don't know me all that well. And so I could understand why you would be nervous about fronting materials that you're going to put into this thing. Heck, I would be too. So here's what I'm going to do. I set up an account at the Home Depot Pro Desk, and you just go up there, you get what you need, and then they're going to text or call me. You can do a text confirm, or they'll call you and get your credit card, and I'll pay for it all. So Now we're like equal risk. You could run off with my material. I've already paid for the material. So we're both fronting a little bit here to try to build our relationship, and that will work out perfectly. Okay. Also, by the way, that gives you some nice oversight as well. You see the receipt before you pay for it, and you can see what they're buying to make sure that they're aligned with the scope of work. That's one thing. And the other thing is, hey, like, I know we did the pay schedule thing here, but, we can cut that down as much as you want. All right. Truly, it's my only rule that I'm not paying ahead for the labor, because I've been burned so many times it would blow your damn mind. But I will, especially as we're building our relationship, I hope this changes in the future, but I will happily run down there at the end of the first day and write you a check. I'll write you another check at the end of the second day and the third day. Hell, I'll write you a check at lunchtime. Once it's lunchtime and you've already done that work from 7 to noon or whatever. That's the only rule. It's got to be after you've done the labor. I will pay for the material, and I'll cut those pay schedules down as small as you want. Of course, as our relationship grows, so does the time in between, I hope, for both of our sakes. But I know that you have to trust me as well. Okay, that's one. Number two, the reason that they do that is because you don't have the authority, the confidence, and you just need to do it. You need to gain it, and you gain it by reps. Okay, I rarely get asked to get payment up front because, when you look serious, when you know what you're talking about, when you're providing scopes of work, you build authority, and just, people don't question it. And you build a reputation of somebody who pays fast and all those things. That's what you're working towards. And the other thing is you're probably hiring the wrong contractors. Okay. If you go call the billboard guy, certainly they're going to ship you off to their admin team who's going to take care of that, and their financing team that sits right next to their marketing team, that sits right next to their legal team. All things which need to be paid for in the price of that product. All of that overhead needs to be collected. That's why I'm never calling those guys. Those are not the guys for you. Okay, guys, these are all skills, and they can all be acquired. And there is no better industry than real estate. There's no better business than this. It can't be taken by AI. It will always be a thing. People are always going to need a place to live. And it gives you more freedom than anything else I can think. I'm never thinking about, I hope I don't get a bad review from that person I bought a house from. Where? And who's looking at it, right? A lot of you that are growing big businesses, you're always freaked out about. I know that I am about businesses that are out there. These are all things that are a detriment to your personal freedom. And that's why I do things the way that I do it, is I want to be able to enjoy my damn life instead of giving away the best hours or the best days of my life to somebody else who's doing what I'm trying to do, which is build my own life. That's what we do here. Guys, link in the description for the free solo house flipping community. A lot of people just like us that, we talk to each other. We help each other out. There's also a couple other links in there, and I will hopefully see you guys soon. Talk to you later.